thank you for coming today. Sheriff Elder is going to say a few brief comments about the office, how we're dealing with the tragic events of yesterday, and how we are going to move forward. First of all, we have Commissioner Darrell Glenn, who will be saying a few words. Then Sheriff Elder will be speaking. We will be entertaining questions after Sheriff Elder is done speaking. Commissioner Glenn.
I just want to say on behalf of the El Paso County Board of Commissioners, our hearts are broken today. We lost a valuable member of our community, and we want to stand in solidarity with Sheriff Elder and so many men and women, family members of this community. We will be here with you, and our hearts and prayers are with you. God bless you.
Good morning. Most of you know about the event that took place yesterday in eastern Colorado Springs. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the victims from the Sheriff's Office. Detective Micah Flick is an 11-year veteran of the Sheriff's Office. He was killed in the line of duty. Deputy Scott Stone is a 5-year veteran of the Sheriff's Office assigned to patrol. He was wounded by gunfire. He is currently in stable condition at Memorial Hospital. Detective Sergeant Jacob Abinchan is a 16-year veteran of the Sheriff's Office. He was wounded by gunfire. His condition is good. I want to say that on my first day as Sheriff of El Paso County, I was asked what my biggest fear was. My response was that my fear was losing a member of this family to tragedy in the line of duty. And last night that fear became a reality. And my heart is broken. My heart is broken not only for the family of Deputy Flick, but for the El Paso County Sheriff's Office and for the citizens of this county. And I ask that this community, this state, and our great nation pray for the El Paso County Sheriff's Office and to hold the Flick family up in prayer. And while our office is mourning the loss of Deputy Flick, I want everybody to know that almost everybody in this agency knew him. They knew that he was not only a great deputy, he was a great father, a great husband, and a great friend to many. I want to thank many first responders who came to our aid yesterday, who responded at a moment's notice, who rendered aid to those deputies that were injured, but also attempted to save Deputy Flick's life. You know, it's in these times of need that we see what this community is made of, and the community of first responders brings. We're fortunate to live in this community. We're fortunate that the relationships that we enjoy amongst the family of first responders, both the police department, the fire department, the outside agencies around this community, are as strong as they are. And I thank those leaders that have been by my side since. But I also want the community to know that this is a strong agency, that the brave men and women of the El Paso County Sheriff's Office will continue to serve this community. They will continue to do the jobs that we ask them to do day in and day out. And these are dangerous jobs in dangerous times, but these men and women are here to serve. And I am proud to be the Sheriff of El Paso County today. And I ask that everybody say a prayer for the Flick family, for the Sheriff's Office, and we will announce in the coming days the funeral. The arrangements for Deputy Flick are pending. And I've got a notice about the donations. If people would like to make donations, they can make them to the El Paso County Sheriff's Foundation for Deputy Micah Flick at 1980 Dominion Way, Colorado Springs, Colorado. We will put that on our website. We will tweet it in just a little bit. We will make it available. And once again, thank you for coming, and I'll answer some of the questions that you might have. Just understand that this is an ongoing investigation. There are still critical pieces of this case that need to be worked through, and so some of the details we will not discuss.
Can you talk a little bit about what led up to the gunfire? We know that this was a suspect in an auto theft, but what led up to the actual shooting?
It was during an arrest, during the investigation of the auto theft.
What do we know about the suspect?
We're not going to release anything just yet.
What can you tell us about the civilian in this kid and how he was?
The civilian was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Don't know. I'm not going to release anything further on that until we get some confirmation from the hospital.
Can you give us any type of confirmation as to whether the deputies were wearing bulletproof vests?
They were all wearing bulletproof vests. They were all wearing bulletproof vests that were identifying themselves as sheriff's deputies.
Were any of the deputies in plain clothes or state patrol or police officers, were any in plain clothes or were they all in uniforms?
These are plainclothes detectives, but they were wearing clearly visible placards that identify them front and back as police officers. They all had badges around their necks.
Sheriff, did the suspect,
Hold
One
on.
at a time.
Sheriff, did the suspect show a weapon or appear to be reaching?
We won't discuss that.
Did you have any assault rifles?
We won't discuss that.
Who is conducting the investigation of the shooting?
The Colorado Springs Police Department is the lead investigation on this case.
Can you tell us anything about the suspect's criminal history?
We're not going to discuss the suspect yet until the suspect has been identified.
Again, this is to talk about the sheriff's office, our loss, and how we are moving forward. Any investigative updates will come only from the Colorado Springs Police Department, and we will not entertain any more questions that have to do with that ongoing investigation. So, with that said, are there any further questions?
Can you just talk a little bit more about, you talked about their condition, the extent of the injuries for the deputies who were injured?
I can give you a little bit. Deputy Stone sustained an injury, a gunshot wound to the abdomen. It does not appear to be life-threatening at this time. The injury to Sergeant Abinchan appears to be at this point to be shrapnel from one of the rounds. We're not real sure at this point. The CSPD officer, I think you'll probably have to get that from CSPD. I don't know. Are you going to release that later, Howard? Okay.
And then, I mean, we're dealing with the third police officer death in Colorado in 37 days. What does that say about just how people are treating police officers now? I mean, what is the message that you want to send to the community when it comes to being approached by a police officer or law enforcement?
You know that this is a tough business. This is a tough business. I've been in this business my entire life. It's a dangerous profession to be in, and unfortunately, in the past few years, there has been a lack of respect for the men and women that are there to protect. We, as we hate to admit it, we understand those risks. Otherwise, we wouldn't do this job. It's got to end. This senseless violence has got to end.
Did you talk to Deputy Flick's family?
Considerably last night. I spent a lot of time with them last night. They're heartbroken, and rightly so. Rightly so. A brave, honorable young man was taken in senseless violence, and they're heartbroken. And this is a good man. This is a This is a great father. He leaves behind 2 young children, a 7-year-old boy and a 7-year-old girl. They're twins. They're beautiful. And it's heartbreaking to hear a mom and a wife explain to the children that dad's been killed and he's now with Jesus. How do you do that? Deputy Flick is the age of my 2 sons. And I don't know how you deal with that as a parent. I don't know.
Talk about Deputy, what kind of person he was, what kind of man he was.
He's a great man. I mean, he grew up in this community. He's a graduate of Colorado Springs Christian Schools. He was extremely well respected. Did a great job at what he did. That's why he was a detective. That's why he progressed through the ranks in quick fashion. He will be missed.
Can you give us any information about commendations that he had received during his career?
Not yet. I'm still waiting on that to come from county personnel.
Sheriff, this morning you talked about the procession, what it meant to the family, what it meant to the law enforcement family. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, the honor watch and the procession from the hospital to the coroner's office last night was unbelievable. If you were out there watching it, it stretched from Circle Drive to Nevada on the interstate. Hundreds of police vehicles and motorcycles. The family was right behind the hearse carrying Deputy Flick's casket. And the sheriff drove family, and they commented on the outpouring of support by this community, and you know that gives me hope for the future. But like I said, this was my biggest fear. I lived through Deputy Lieutenant Cipriani of it doesn't get easy. But we will emerge from this stronger, and the community can be proud of what people do. These men and women are the investigation. Yesterday, do this every day, and you don't even know. They're in shock. Everybody knows. So it's a shock to this agency. This is a family. This is not just the business down the street. This is a family. We spend a lot of time together. We spend a lot of very stressful, emotional time together.
Is there anything else that you guys need from the public in terms of the investigation?
I don't think so. CSPD is running most of that. I think that we've had the scene locked down. It's staffed pretty heavily at this point. I think that's doing pretty good. The one thing that I will ask, because Deputy Flick's family is local and they are so large, there's a likelihood you will figure out where they live. You will figure out where the kids go to school. I just ask that you respect their privacy while they grieve, and while we put processes in place. Try not to invade that. Just give them some time.
Have you talked to the other officers involved, and how are they doing?
Talked to a number of them. I'm still trying to reach out to some. Part of it, their privacy while they grieve, and while we put processes in place. Try not to invade that. Just give them some time.
Have you talked to the other officers involved, and how are they doing?
Talked to a number of them. I'm still trying to reach out to some. Part of it requires timing-wise, based on the investigation, and so you know, I'm waiting for some of the interviews to get completed so that I can spend some time with them. This is a tough one.
I know you said you can't talk about the investigation part, but was one of the officers hitting the crossfire from another officer? Or can you talk
We're not going to talk about it.
The civilian, is there any sense on if that was a resident there or if it was one of the high schools getting out?
Still not going to talk about it.
Is CBI involved?
Not that I know of.
Sheriff, how many of your folks are on desk duty now after this incident?
I couldn't even venture a guess.
How many were deployed on scene? Was this like a big taxing event for the department once it went down? I mean, a lot
No,
of
the group that was working this is a group that works together regularly. So they were doing the job that they do day in and day out. So this was not an unusual event. It's not like this was a tactical call out or anything.
Were there any officers that were on the scene initially that were not injured, or was it the four?
No, there were a number of other officers on scene that were not injured.
For that initial contact call?
Gotcha.
Okay, that concludes the press conference. Again, thank you all for coming. If you have any further questions, you can reach out to me, and be sure to follow our Twitter feed. That is where the most up-to-date information will be coming from.
Thank you, everybody.